Welcome to another episode of Power Bourbon. And tonight, we have a new guest, which is Mr. Cody Renwick.
Hey, how you doing?
And he comes from us from Chicago. You may have seen a previous episode where we did the biggest dud I've ever bought for $200 versus my Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, or not Elijah Craig, E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof.
Yep.
And this is the man that got it for me. So we decided to have some fun. He found a Russell's 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B524, which I think is the best Elijah Craig since 2020-ish. So we thought we would blind these two off and see what we think.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Russell 15, everybody's saying it's going to be one of the top whiskeys of the year. So, yeah, soon to see kind of how it all plays out.
Yep. And it'll be fun because I've been in bourbon now for, probably 5-6 years, and you're relatively new.
Yeah, probably 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah, you got me into it 2021, I think, something.
Yep.
Right?
So, here we go. All right, so you got your last one, or did you choose your right one?
Well,
all right, last one. So we'll go A first and see what we think. So, a little dusty. Oaky, vanilla. Might even say a little turkey funk. Might be going that way.
I could see that.
Ooh. That is high proof. It's got a nice Kentucky hug on that.
Yeah, really high proof. The ethanol was a little bit there on the nose, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of ethanol forward on that one. Interesting.
And this isn't our first drink of the day either. So, I mean, we're a little warmed up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot of caramel, vanilla, butterscotch. Very traditional bourbon notes on that. But I feel like there might be a little bit of grain on there that I'm getting. And then on the finish, it is peppery, oaky, a decent finish, but not overly long.
No. But, I can't keep coming away from that ethanol note. That there's the really big ethanol note with it. And so it'll be interesting to see when we get through this, which one was which.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of see what has that. But, the ethanol note for me really stands out.
Yeah. Oh,
this one's a little bit more muted.
Yeah. Let me go peanut brittle on this one. That's interesting. So that is oaky, moss, like foresty. That, yeah. Well, so it is super sweet. Yeah. And then there's something on this palate to finish transition that there's a really sharp note for me.
Really? So I get a little bit of that sharp note that you were talking about, but it's reminiscent of Glass 1, but the sharp note isn't as, I don't want to say isn't as sharp, but it isn't as intrusive as I feel like Glass 1 was. Like Glass 1's note was incredibly it was a punch, right? Yeah. Whereas this one is a little bit more muted and a little bit, and I know the smooth is a naughty word in bourbon, but a much more smooth transition throughout the glass.
Okay.
But there is a note there in the back end, like you said, that's kind of everything else is going really well, and then you get that note, and you have to.
Yeah, I'm going to say both of them are very ethanol forward. They're both high proof. I can tell.
100%.
Yeah, the second one, there is something there. I'm not completely sold on it.
Now that dusty note, though, coming back to glass one, that dusty note a lot more prevalent too.
Yeah.
That funk, like you said. I don't know if it's necessarily the turkey funk because I haven't had the ECPB in a while, but definitely a funk there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on, for me, on the noses. The first A takes it. Like,
Okay,
it's
I probably disagree. I probably like glass two's nose a little bit more to me.
There's that. I would give it a mossy, truffly note on glass two that I'm just not as big of a fan of.
You back to what? Okay, you're back on glass one.
Going back to glass one, it does a much better job of start to finish coming together, being caramely, oaky, butterscotchy, well-rounded across the board.
Yeah, actually, now you mention it, and this is why when we do it, right, we want to jump from glass to glass, kind of compare and contrast, right? On glass one now, a little bit more smooth, a little bit more approachable throughout. The intrusive note has kind of died down again, but maybe that's because warming back up a little bit with higher proof bourbons again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a nice sweetness to number one, nice butterscotch, that then transitions to a nice drying oak on the finish. And it's a little spicy there, a little drying of the oak, and then it ends off relatively quick. So I like one a lot more the second time.
And I feel like a flip-flopper a little bit because the more and more I jump back and forth, the more and more I kind of like realize like the advantages of both, right? So like when I went with number two initially, coming off this, like I said, that ethanol punch came over to two was a little bit, like you said, smoother through the whole drink, came back to one, and some of the notes that you were mentioning, I started to immediately pick up on a little bit more.
And remember, this is a $250 bourbon versus a $70 bourbon.
What's the age statement on the Elijah Craig?
Well, 11 years and a couple months.
Oh, so relatively close to the 15.
Yeah, number two, I'm getting some note throughout the whole thing that just doesn't meld with it. And I don't know what that is. I mean, you get the nice oak, you get a really interesting nose, but then the palate to the finish, something just stands out, and not in a good way for me.
How would you describe it? Like, what would be that note? Because I'm starting to pick up on it a little bit more and more, but how it's I think it's something difficult for me to describe.
Yeah. To me, it's almost like a plasticky note, to be honest. Like it's something in there.
It's just not hitting.
Yeah. So. Well, I know my favorite.
Okay.
But since you're the guest, I'll let you choose your favorite first, put you on the spot.
Okay. Like you said, the ethanol punch on one was first drink really, really kind of off-putting a little bit. Came into two, a little bit smoother throughout the transition, but did start to pick up that note you were kind of talking about. Came back to one, all of a sudden the ethanol note had died down a little bit. I don't know if it sat in the glass or if I just kind of warmed up a little bit more, but definitely started approaching one a lot more. So of the two, I think they both have merits, but I think I'm going to probably go with one. I think I liked glass one, class A. Yeah, for us, a little bit more.
Yep, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to say that the first go through, the reason glass A hit a little off for us is because these are high proof bourbons. This was the first pour of the night, and when we opened our palate up, by the time we got to 2 and then came back to 1, it had opened up and
100%
worked together. So we both agree glass 1 or glass 1 is the winner.
Yep.
What do you think it is?
God, I hope it's the 15 for the amount of money I spent on it. I hope it's the 15. But I don't really know. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've had ECPB, and I haven't had any of the more recent vintages. So I'm hoping it's the 15.
Okay.
But, just knowing the way life kind of rolls is probably going to be the ECPB.
I think it's the ECPB.
Okay. So let's see.
But let's see. So let's go with the Russell's 15.
Okay.
Nice sample here. And it is glass B. Yeah. So the winner tonight is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch B524, 11 years, 2 months at 130.6 proof. Again, I think they're both, like we said, good. But when I can buy, 4 of those bottles, basically?
Yeah, for $50 for the 15.
Yeah, for that, Elijah Craig is still the best value in bourbon, I think. I don't know. Have you tried them? Let us know in the comments. Are you looking for the Russell's Reserve 15? Is it better than the 13 if you've had both? What do you think of the newest Elijah Craig? And are you looking for Batch C, which should be coming relatively soon? So, yeah, let us know. And with that, cheers. See you next time.